Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube and myself, Mark Carlaw. Now, we've got Leeds United coming up away Wednesday night, massive game. We are going to be previewing that, and we're going to be talking about the match itself and the opponents and whatnot, and I will hopefully be doing that with Riley. This one is the hot topic, the David Moyes, which, it's going to be running and running now. Personally, I don't see it stopping until the trigger is pulled. Because I think that is inevitable. I can't see him turning this around. I mean, I've said this numerous times now. I just think that this is where we're going with him. So we're going into a Leeds game on the back of 2 defeats. Now, let's bear in mind that they gave the manager 3 matches to turn this around. They said during the World Cup break that 3 matches. That is what has been reported pretty widely from a lot of outlets. So that was the situation. So first game was Arsenal and we lost. And we were awful. Second half, we were really awful. I mean, I don't think we were good first half, really. I know we walked off 1-0 winners. 1-0 up at half time. But ultimately, I thought we were lucky. Pretty that kind of masked a pretty average performance. And I thought Arsenal were by far the better side. But a lot of people have said to me, well, what were you expecting? Were you expecting to beat Arsenal? No, but I was expecting a bit more fight, to be honest. I thought there was no fight in that match at all. And we deservedly lost. Conceded 3 goals in about 12 minutes or something ridiculous. So that's all you need to do. Let's not dwell on that. That happened. And then we had Brentford at home. I was certain we would lose that game. I was certain, went to that ground. I just knew we would lose. I knew they'd concede. I knew we'd concede early, and we did. And it was just written on the wall. It could have been more, in my opinion. We weren't great. I think only the first 10 minutes we looked pretty good. The rest of it we were awful. Totally toothless performance again. And yet he's still in the job. He's still here. He's been given. All right. You might say, well, fair enough. We said 3 games. Here's your 3rd game. But apparently now he's been given 3 games from now. Right. So our board are clearly sticking behind David Moyes. They're giving him a bit more time. Now, the games we've got left, well, let's say the 3-game window, I'm going to take into account the FA Cup. I've got to assume that is included. I mean, it's got to be, surely. So that's saying now he's got Leeds away, Brentford away, and then Wolves away. Let me just double check. Let me just confirm that is correct. Yeah. 3 away games. Leeds, Brentford, and Wolves. So we're going into the Leeds game. We're in dire form. Arguably, this is probably the best game out of those, you would say, judging on recent form and things. I mean, it is a crucial must-win game for David Moyes. He has to win this game. There are no ifs or buts. A draw is no good. He has to go there and get a result, put in a good performance. I'm not at all confident. I'm sure many fans are not confident. I hope there are still some fans that have a bit of belief, and because at the moment I'm drained from it. Actually, I don't feel any belief at the moment in what's going on behind the scenes and with the manager and everything. Really, I'm just not seeing anything. And then he's got Brentford away in the FA Cup. All right, FA Cup kind of the form windows. The form sometimes sort of gets thrown out the window for FA Cup. So I don't know, but again, I don't fancy us at all there. They're playing very well. This is the same Brentford, by the way, that when we played them on Friday, people were saying to me, they're only 6 points ahead of you, though. If you beat them, you're only 3 points off 10th. Well, that was Friday night. This is now Tuesday evening, and we are now 12 points behind Brentford, just so you know. So that's how quick we are falling away in this league. And Brentford aren't top of the league, by the way. So you look at the league table, and it's frightening. So Brentford are now 7th and 26 points. West Ham is 17th and 14. There you go. That's how fast it can change. I mean, it's amazing, really. And the reality is, okay, that we are now in a relegation battle. There is absolutely no way that we can sort of deny that anymore. I think it's time the board and the club now really start to wake up to realise the situation we're in. We are not a club, okay, that's going through a blip. This isn't a slight run of a couple of bad results or a few bad results or even 5 losses on the spin. Let's not This is a year of really bad relegation form. That Europa League from last season completely papered over some big cracks that were appearing in this football club. We were really poor actually towards the end of that season. We were rubbish. I mean, you only got to look at the Brighton game at the end of the season and the performance to see how poor we were. And things have just got worse and worse. We've had a significant amount of change at the club since then as well, and a lot of the positives have gone. Mark Noble being one good leader. People are behind him. You know, the sort of Mr. West Ham, and you know that's gone. And it's huge boots to fill for Rice, and he's, you know, we're seeing it. You know, he's clearly struggling with that position. I'm not having a go at Declan, but you know, it's understandable. They're big shoes to fill. And then you've got, you know, the losses of Stuart Pearce. You've got big characters that have gone from the back. You know, David Martin was apparently very, very popular figure. All these things are really starting to build. You can see there's been lots of change. And then you've got on top of that, us spending 180 million on new faces. It's hard to integrate a couple of new players, isn't it? Let's be honest. So, and especially for someone like David Moyes, who seems void of any kind of good relationship with players. He just seems, you know, his man management skills seem to be, I mean, I'm not impressed with him. I just don't like the way he treats players. I really do. I don't know whether, I don't know how popular he is behind the scenes, but I don't get the feeling that he's overly popular. So the situation is the club just aren't acknowledging what's going on. They're just really, they just seem to be, it's almost like they're getting caught up in last year's nonsense in the Europa. It's like they're still living this. I think they're still in Lyon. I think they're still celebrating. I just don't know what's going on. In their heads, they're just going, yeah, but he's brilliant. Look what he's done. Look what he's done. He's been so amazing for 2 years. He hasn't been good for 2 years. He was good for a season, okay? In 2000, you know, to get us to 6 in the 2020, 2021, the COVID season when we had no fans, it did help West Ham. Let's be honest, we did do very well because we finished above Arsenal and Tottenham. When does that bloody happen? Well, it happened, and we had a great season. And then we had the first half of the season after, and we did do well. We were looking pretty good, and we were sort of going into the end of the year break looking pretty strong, and it just fell apart. And we've not recovered. We've not recovered at all, and we've been on a horrendous slide ever since. The club are just in complete denial. They're just not acknowledging what's going on. I don't know why he's been given more time. I don't understand it. If it was, you know, if we were back in 1980s now, you know, or 70s, whatever, when relegation was kind of, yeah, it happens, but no one leaves. The money's different in the game. You keep the same players come back up. I'd kind of get it. I'd probably say, I'll tell you what, David, we'll give you a whole year. We'll get you to sort this out. Yes, we'll give you another window next summer. Even if we get relegated, and you can work on it. This football's not like that anymore. I mean, come on. Look at Aston Villa. They pulled the trigger on the man that they paid Rangers for. You know, they went and got a manager at the time that had just won the league, doing amazingly well at Rangers, and they went and got him. Took him out of his job. It didn't work. It just didn't work. We all saw it wasn't working. He was struggling there for whatever reason. I don't know, but it didn't work. They didn't sit on it. They didn't just go, well, we've invested money in him. They went, no, we're dealing with this. We're getting it dealt with. He's not good enough. This isn't working. And then went to another club, paid compensation, and got the man they wanted. And look at them; they're flying. The players are playing for him. The fans are behind him. It doesn't take Einstein to work out, you know, this is what you need to do. I mean, I'm not one of these people, okay, that, and trust me, there are a lot of them. You know, I know a lot of people like it, that when you lose one or two games, oh, sack the manager. Oh, you know, he's useless. I'm never like that. I always think, no, come on, we're doing okay. Just give him a bit of time. You know, things can, you know, football is tough at times. But this isn't a couple of games. This isn't. It needs sorting out. And I don't know if, you know, people watching this, I'm sure many of you will remember 2002, 2003, pretty sure that's correct, when Glenn Roeder took us down with the famous, you know, too good to go down. We're too good to go down. It was, you know, we had Joe Cole, we had the likes of Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, and, you know, the list went on and on, Paolo Di Canio, you name it. We had a very, very good side. I mean, arguably, you look at that squad really and go, you should be in the top 6. Should have been top 6, top 7. Should have been right at the top competing. And that's, to be honest, that's where we are now. I mean, you look at our squad now, you go, that should be a top 6. Declan Rice, one of the best midfielders in the world. Is that Lucas Paquetá, plays for Brazil? That's it? He's number 1 striker as well with it. I mean, you know, these are all, you know, Jared Bowen. I mean, you look at his unbelievable talented squad. You'd look at it on paper and go, wow, West Ham could be top 4 challenging this season. If they get it right, They get it right. So they've given David Moyes everything here. They've given him everything. I mean, but this is what happened at West Ham then. And it was just this utter delusion. It was just this delusion that we were just going to get out of it. We were going to get out of this mess. Glenn Roeder will turn this around because Glenn Roeder took West Ham to 7th. Yeah, he did. He took West Ham to 7th. I remember it when he took over in Redknapp. And everyone hated Roeder. No one wanted him in, but he got us to 7th. And everyone went, oh, blimey, okay. And he lived on that. He lived on that finish that season. You know, what a brilliant manager he is. What a wonderful, brilliant manager he is. And God rest his soul, you know, I know he's no longer with us. But you know, I'm just talking the facts. That's what happened. And they stood by Glenn Roeder, like they're sticking by David Moyes. And it was just delusion. They lived on that season. And it was like, well, you got 7th. So he's get us out of this. And we got relegated, you know. And let's be honest, it took us, we never really recovered. I mean, all right, we're talking quite a long time ago now. We're talking 20 years. But it took us, you know, well beyond a decade to recover from that. A long, long, long time. We lost so much talent, and you know, we built something so special at that club, and it was gone. And this board have just got to start waking up because, you know, I'll tell you what we did that season, because I think that was my first experience properly of relegation. Properly, yeah, it was from the Premier League. It was my kind of, and I remember that season always counting down the games. And I remember always saying to my dad, right, it doesn't matter though. We've still got 20 games to go. We've got 20 matches. Bloody hell, we've only got to win seven of them. We're safe. It's not a problem. But you just tick them down every week. Tick. And before you know it, that's 7 games, 7 wins you need to get. You've only got 9 to do it or whatever, you know. And that's how I just feel this season going. I can sense that's what's happening now. Because I could hear that around the ground when I was chatting to a few fans on against the Brentford game, and I heard that line a few times. Yeah, but we've only played. I think actually Riley said it. I'm not digging Riley out, by the way, but he said it. He said this time, don't forget we've only played 16 games. Oh, don't forget we've only played 17 games. There's still a long way to go. There's not a long way to go at all. You know, the season wraps up in May. We're in January now. We've only got a few months, and don't forget, out of these, you know. Let's say, you know, how many games we got? So 20 games to go, 21 games to go. Out of the 21 games to go, the majority of them, you know, a lot of them are at the top half of the league. You're playing against your Tottenhams, you're playing against your Chelseas, your Man Cities, and your Newcastles, and so you're wiping them all out straight away. Oh no, we ain't going to win that. Oh, we ain't going there and win. We ain't going to win. And all of a sudden, you're left with about 7 or 8 games. That's literally what's going to happen, and we've got to win them all. Brentford was a must-win. Leeds away is a must-win game. Wolves away. I mean, and Wolves are now, their tails are up. I mean, now we're saying, well, we're going to struggle at Wolves. That's going to be a really hard game. Probably unlikely, but probably unlikely we're going to win that. And you're thinking, bloody hell. So where are these wins coming from? Where are these points that are going to come from? I mean, I am now genuinely worried. As far as I'm concerned, David Moyes has to beat Leeds. There is no two ways about it. If this football club, if these owners are genuinely saying to me, it doesn't matter if we lose to Leeds, it doesn't really matter because he's still got a couple more games, including a bloody FA Cup games, which, let's be honest, in the position we're in, who gives a shit? I mean, I've always said, you know, I want to go and win a cup, but this is one of them seasons I'm just sort of, I don't really want to think about FA Cups or anything. I'm not really interested. I know it sounds horrible to say, but we've got bigger fish to fry. We've got to stay in this Premier League. I'd happily write it off. I'd happily just put the kids out, write it off, move on. I really would. Well, to be honest, we'd probably get a better result anyway. Put the kids out. Wouldn't surprise me. I actually am genuinely worried now that we are in a situation where David Moyes is taking this football club down. I do think we are struggling. I'm struggling to think of 3 worse teams than us. I really am. I actually think Nottingham Forest are actually doing a better job than us now. They're actually looking like a better side, a bit more united, a bit more fire in their belly. And let's be honest, if Leeds beat us, which I will not be shocked at all if we lose Ellen Road, I will not be at all shocked. I'm not expecting anything. That'd be another team that'll suddenly think, oh, here we go. We're up for it now. We're fighting. I think Leicester are doing better than us. Honestly, I really am starting to worry that West Ham are going to get relegated. I'm not saying we will, but I'm actually starting to really think that we are firmly in a relegation battle because the club are showing all the hallmarks of 2002 and 2003. They're just sitting back and going, we've got the right man for the job. They said that in a statement to ex-WH employee. That's what he'd been told. But if we were going to if we were no, hang on, let's get the statement right. They said if there was an unemployed, if David Moyes was unemployed, he'd be the man we'd hire. Well, first of all, that then says they're not doing what Villa had just done. They're not going out and going, who's the right man to lead this club? Who's the right man to take this club forward? All they're actually going to do, if they do sack David Moyes, which, let's be honest, if he loses to Leeds, he has to go, in my opinion, then they're literally going to look up the list of unemployed managers. That's what they're going to do because they don't want to pay the compensation, which is ridiculous. It's mental when you think about it. You're willing to spend hundreds of millions of pounds on your players, but the man leading them, you want to find someone in a bargain bin. It's just mad. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it with hiring Moyes. This is what's happened. He left West Ham. He didn't get another job. We brought him back. Honestly, I'm really starting to worry. I'm really starting to think that, we are heading towards doom here. If we don't wake up, if we go to Ellen Road tomorrow night and get battered and lose, let's just lose. Let's say we lose 2-0. Don't play very well. What's the point in giving him the FA Cup? What's the point in giving him Wolves? What's the point? Just get it done. Just change the manager. Scott Parker's just got employed. He's going to be playing Champions League, managing Champions League football. I know a lot of people said that I was wrong. I've said I actually fancy Scott Parker for this role. I know a lot of the comments below said I was talking rubbish, and that's fair enough. Everyone's absolutely entitled to opinion, but I actually think he'd done a good job for West Ham. I really think he was the kind of guy we needed. A bit younger, a bit fresh, and oomph, and a bit of he likes to work hard, and I think he's got that kind of grit. He was a great captain for West Ham. Gutted to see him go when he did. I think he would have done a good job. I really do. I actually would have been fully behind him. I think he was just a perfect manager we would have wanted for this time. And I just said we'd give him a short-term contract, give him a 6-month deal, and say, look, this is it. This is your opportunity. If you want to be a West Ham manager, get it done. And I reckon he would have done. I really do. Obviously we'll see how he gets on there, but I think he'd have done a good job. You got the likes of Michael Carrick. He's getting a lot of attention at Middlesbrough, but we're not going to pay the compensation, so that ain't going to happen. It's such a worrying time, and I just really hope that the board now start waking up and realising what's going on here, because we are in a relegation battle. And I used an analogy the other day in a conversation with someone. And I don't know why I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't share this, but I will. But it's almost like they're saying, well, all he's got to do is win the next, win 3 out of the next 4 games. If he does that, we're out of it. We're going to start pulling out of it. That's like going to a nightclub every bloody weekend and never pulling a girl, never getting nowhere near them. You got no confidence, and you shit yourself the sight of a woman, and you think, I can't talk to her. And then you say to your mates on the last night at the New Year's do, you're going to say, I'm going to pull 2 tonight. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to suddenly win 3 out of 4 games. It's not going to happen. Especially when you look at the games. Leeds away is tough. Wolves away. Can you honestly see us going to the Molineux and winning? You've got Everton at home. I actually think Everton are fighting. I think they actually look better than us. It's mad. I really am worried. This is David Moyes. He has to deliver tomorrow night. He has to get a result. A draw is no good. I know that if we get a draw, people will think, oh, thank God, we didn't lose. And I will be one of them. I will be a little bit one of them. But it's not enough. It's just not enough. Like, we can't. That is a must-win game for all the reasons I've just said. Everyone goes, well, we've got 21 games to go. Yeah, we ain't going to win 15 of them. Do you know what I mean? We ain't going to win 15 of them. Yeah, pretty much. I can guarantee it. So you've got 6 games, and this is one of them. Yeah. But you never know. You never know. We're going to be doing a preview of the Leeds game tomorrow with more detail about the match itself, and stop moaning about David Moyes, I promise. Come on, you irons, and thanks for watching. Cheers.